and welcome to National Focus. I am Adicia Burton. In the headlines, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says the housing revolution represents government's ongoing commitment to shelter vulnerable citizens. Graduates of American Canadian School of Medicine can now access the United States medical licensing examination. And CAPA launches Fresh Produce Market Linkage Workshop. The details of the headline stories and more when we return.
Ride safe, wear a helmet, safer roads in the nature aisle. This message was brought to you by the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says providing secure and comfortable housing for the country's most vulnerable citizens has always been a priority for the Labour Party administration. This is evident through government's ongoing housing revolution, through which 5,000 homes will be built for citizens in need.
Housing did not become a thing that we speak about after the hurricane. We built many homes before the hurricane, because that was the centerpiece of the government's policies, is to provide housing to people. And various components of this housing revolution program, from the regularization of squatters, people who occupied government lands for decades, long before I was born, we instituted a policy to sell those lands to the beneficiaries at $1 a square foot. But the land did not cost $1. In some instances, it's as high as $12 per square foot. And people were able to get the certificate of title and go to the banks and contract small loans to start building their own homes.
This administration has put in place a number of initiatives to assist Dominicans at all economic levels to own a home.
We provided loans at the Aid Bank at 4% to persons in the private sector to build homes. The cheapest interest rate you have gotten anywhere in the Caribbean for housing at the time. Now banks are forced to lower their interest rates because of government's policies. Then we placed monies at the Government Housing Loan Board, so public officers could borrow at 4% to build their homes. And you know what we found out then? That the non-established workers could not contract a loan from the Government Housing Loan Board because they were appointed. You know what we did? We went to Parliament and amended the Government Housing Loans Board Act to allow for non-established workers to contract loans at the Government Housing Loan Board. And we started building homes. Many homes across Dominica, many housing schemes for individuals on their own properties and government properties.
Many families are expected to receive keys to new homes during the year as the housing revolution continues.
We've also been able to use the CBI funds to invest in housing, because this HRP is but one component of the housing recovery efforts. And you go to many communities, whether it is Granby, in St. Anne Granby, or Scottsted, in Point Michel, in Vekas, in Penville, in Paybush, in Woodford Hill, you will see houses are being built. In many instances, they are completed, waiting for the road infrastructure to be put in place, for keys to be handed over to people. We're talking about, I believe, 256 of those will be handed later this year to deserving Dominicans. That's just another component of it. And so we appreciate what housing means to people as a government.
Prime Minister Skerrit says his government understands the importance of housing and the sense of dignity and security it brings to homeowners.
And so I am very happy for you, the beneficiaries. This is a sense of eternal pride and excitement for you. And I'm speaking and I'm excited as if I'm the one who is receiving the key this afternoon. Because I know what to own your own home means. To be able to walk in your home and to sit and to enjoy the ambience of it. And if you realize it in the construction of the homes, we didn't say, okay, well, those in Marigot we build in a different way and those in Portsmouth a different way. They all have the same quality, they all have the same resilience, and they all have the same aesthetic appeal. They were all built across Dominica with the same considerations. And if you look at the apartments we build and the homes that we're building, we did not build nice homes in Roseau or nice homes in Mao, and don't build everywhere in Dominica is the same. Whether it's in Davis, Laplain or Grandfort, the same thing. Because we want to ensure that every Dominican is at the same level as far as possible. We're raising people up.
42 families from around the island, with 15 of the beneficiaries hailing from the Kalinago territory, received keys to new homes yesterday under the Housing Recovery Project, a government initiative with funding from the World Bank in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. The American-Canadian School of Medicine has achieved a significant milestone by receiving an Educational Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates sponsor note, which is now visible in the World Directory of Medical Schools. This achievement opens doors for ACSUM graduates to take the United States Medical Licensing Examination and participate in the National Resident Matching Program.
We've had our full 5-year accreditation by IAR, internationally recognized, so the World Federation of Medical Education now recognizes our full 5-year accreditation, which is important for students that want to go on to practice elsewhere in the world, through the U.S., through Canada. There's a number of rule changes coming up in the future here, and really the long and the short of it is that students have to graduate from an accredited school, and that accreditor has to be recognized by WFME. We have that. And for the next 5 years, our students don't have to worry about that. They know that the school has that in hand.
These attainments indicate the university's dedication to offering high-quality medical education and training to its students.
It means that our students have a very clear pathway back to the U.S. for training, licensure, and practice as a fully fledged physician. Their decision to offer sponsor notes as well impacts our Canadian students, who are also likewise now able to take the Canadian licensing exams and also able to participate in the Canadian match program. So just in parallel, just like the U.S., our Canadian students now have a very direct path back to postgraduate training and licensure in Canada. And I think these are two incredibly important things, and also just not just on the accreditation front, but with these approvals for taking licensing exams, applying for residency. It really makes us attractive to a broad market of medical students who need a high-quality opportunity.
Mr. James emphasizes that the university's recent achievements were not accomplished in isolation. He acknowledges and highlights the contributions of those who have helped foster the success of the institution thus far.
And it has really been a team effort. Just even within the university, it's our dean's office, it's our administration, it's even certainly our faculty, it's our students and the role that they play within the university. All these things are important to our accreditors. But it's also the government. I have to say that none of this would have happened without the Ministry of Health and actually Office of the Prime Minister. Really the involvement to have these accreditations and to have access to taking the licensing exams. The school has to do its work. You need the accreditation authority, and you need the ECFMG clearinghouse as another entity. And really the third entity that's needed in all of this is the government.
Despite being less than a year old, the school has already hosted 2 white coat ceremonies, which indicate its growing recognition. The university has also received preliminary accreditation from the Accreditation Commission on Colleges of Medicine, an accrediting body recognized by WFME based in Ireland. These accreditations will play a key role in enhancing the university's standards.
There's schools that have been out there for 50 years that don't have the accreditation standard that we have, or standing that we have right now, in terms of having that full 5-year runway in front of us. And we're excited about it, and we're also thankful. We're also appreciative of everybody working together to make this happen.
President James anticipates August after receiving such accomplishments earlier this month. They are looking forward to continuing the positive momentum at the university.
Not only is it the first full year that we will have had to recruit for a class, but now after these past 2 weeks, we are armed with, I think, really the critical access, critical approvals that are needed for students from North America to attend medical school here. I think they're intrigued by our small groups, 1 physician, 10 students. I think they're intrigued by all these visiting faculty members that we have coming down from Ivy League U.S. medical schools, leading Canadian schools. American Canadian is much more than a name if you look at our curriculum and how we designed it. If you look at the faculty that come down from some of the best schools in the world that are located there in the U.S. and Canada, we're really fulfilling that part of our promise and that part of our charter.
During the past 2 semesters, the university has successfully recruited 20 new students, including 4 from Dominica. Dr. Stanley White, the Senior Associate Dean, is satisfied with the school's progress and its efforts to attract a diverse student body.
I've been extremely encouraged by the progress given from where the school started last year. They had a very short recruitment period, yet we still managed to attract 9 students in a very short period of time. And in January, for the semester that's just entered, we enrolled another 11 students. So, that's a big increase over the first one, and we're looking forward to a bigger increase for the August cohort this year.
In an effort to address regional food security, the Caribbean Agricultural Productivity Improvement Activity, CAPA, has launched a fresh produce market linkage workshop in Dominica. The workshop, funded through USAID, engaged key stakeholders in selected value chains.
We're here to support the launch of the Caribbean Agricultural Productivity Improvement Activity, CAPA. So this is what I'm told is called a fresh produce market linkages workshop. Now, CAPA is an important milestone in U.S. Dominica and U.S. Caribbean relations. Now, as we roll out this key activity, it's designed to address food insecurity regionally. So it's more, I think we heard there's several countries involved in this program. Now, through the 2030 U.S. Caribbean Partnership to address the climate crisis, or PAC 2030 for short, the United States government is supporting our partners in the region to address the unique and evolving climate, energy, food security, and capacity challenges facing Caribbean nations.
He spoke to the overall purpose of the CAPA project in addressing food security.
The overarching goal of the CAPA project is to ensure long-term food security by making the food supply more self-reliant, by strengthening the agricultural sector, developing markets, and supporting agro-processing. USAID, through CAPA, aims to drive investments that improve the efficiency and reliability of food production and distribution, enabling farmers to sustainably feed their family, communities, and nations.
CAPA's project director, Mr. Sandyford Edwards, gave an overview of the work of IESC in Dominica.
Our role as IESC under this CAPA initiative funded by USAID will be to bring all the producers, all the actors, all the aggregators, all the market players together, the input suppliers together, to strengthen the value chain and to look at where the gaps are so that we can improve. So for example, in meeting with the buyers here in Dominica, the supermarkets, the hotels, they've indicated to us what some of the challenges are. Consistency of production, quality of production, even the price of some of the produce that are offered. Our role, therefore, will be to work with the producers to ensure that they can plant according to the demand schedule that the buyers have established, that they would have the planning production in place. But you're not able to plant if you don't have the inputs at the available time, at the right cost. So we will also be working with the input suppliers to make sure that the input suppliers are aware of the demand that the producers have to ensure that you can meet the demand for the buyers.
The free value chains identified currently include cassava, dasheen, and passion fruit value chains. However, plantain and vegetables are also under consideration.
IESC, under this USAID initiative, will be working with the producers to introduce new technologies, ground cover, shade covering, new variety of seeds, irrigation systems, etc., to put you in a position that you can better produce for the market. And then finally, part of our work program involves the development of 2 strong commercially viable business plans here in Dominica. So over the next few weeks, we are going to engage partners to try to identify what are the 1 or 2 good business ideas where there is already a bit of history and experience that needs to be scaled up, that has a viable market.
Meanwhile, crop and soil scientist in the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Al-Kazimi, spoke to the expected outcomes of the initiative.
Under this initiative, which is a 3-year duration program stemming from June 2023 to up to June 2026, we expect that the farming community will be significantly impacted with regards to production practices, climate-smart agricultural approaches which are very inherent to the nature of our topography as well as the ecosystem services of Dominica. As we speak, we are celebrating Forest Week of activities hosted by the Ministry of Environment. And it is imperative that we understand the symbiotic relationship between agriculture and our natural ecosystems in Dominica. And we are very elated to see our Dominica State College students here, because I am very much an advocate of the whole issue of academia and agriculture. The issue of research in terms of participatory as well as improved and advanced research is something that we need to actually embrace. And through opportunities like that CAPA initiative, we expect to see much more participation with regards to the involvement of the State College, especially its ACT program, with regards to the implementation of a number of interventions proposed.
This initiative is a collaborative effort of CAPA, ICA, IESC, USAID, and the Ministry of Agriculture. You're watching National Focus. More when we return.
Bache and buckle. Safer roads in the Nature Isle. This message was brought to you by the Government of the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Welcome back. Dominica is this week celebrating its unparalleled biodiversity and cultural heritage through Forest Week 2024 under the theme Forests and Innovation. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of the Environment, Lucien Blackmore, says it's critical to recognize the profound significance of our forests in sustaining not only our economy, but our identity and resilience in the face of climate change.
Not only does Dominica rich biodiversity provides the foundation for our agricultural industry, it likewise serves as a major attraction to tourists seeking the experience of our unique flora, fauna, and other exclusive forest ecosystems of our island. resulting in diverse revenue generation and livelihood opportunities.
Mr. Blackmore says beyond its economic benefits, our forests are depositories of traditional knowledge and cultural heritage, particularly within the Kalinago community.
Preserving our biodiversity is integral to safeguarding its invaluable cultural legacy and creating economic opportunities through nature-based tourism, agriculture, and of course, other traditional enterprises.
Mr. Blackmore says Forest Week activities align with the larger development program, leveraging ecotourism and biodiversity protection, which focuses on improving management of protected areas, biodiversity and sustainable ecotourism operations, in addition to seeking to create greater opportunity for sustainable livelihoods, particularly within the Kalinago community. He is anticipating ample participation in the highlight of the week, which will be a multi-sector stakeholder roundtable discussion on forestry management, carded for Thursday at the State House Conference Center.
This session aims to foster sharing of ideas, lessons, experiences, proven knowledge, best practices, expertise, and to build networks to broaden partnerships to foster collective thinking and action required for enhancing biodiversity conservation.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I am Adicia Burton. Thanks for watching.